Good evening and welcome to the 2019-2020 Urbana High School Academic Achievement Banquet. My name is Nate Seaver and I am the Assistant Principal here at Urbana High School. Before we begin with tonight's first ever virtual ceremony, I would like to take a moment and thank those great individuals that have put a ton of time and energy into making tonight's banquet possible. First, I would like to recognize the members of the Academic Banquet Committee. Ms. Jennifer Ensminger, Mrs. Holly Lewis, Mr. Chris Lytle, Mrs. Robin Morgan, Mr. Jason Shelley, Mr. Patrick Trenner, and Ms. Ellen Westerman. Next, I would like to thank Mr. Charles Thiel for his help in making the presentation for this evening's virtual ceremony. I would also like to say thank you to the donors for supporting tonight's banquet: Bundy Bacon Solutions, Johnson Welded Products, Michael Farms, the Skelly Lubber Company, Urbana Chapter 698 Women of the Moose, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Shockey, Mr. and Mrs. Robert Hulsman, Mr. and Mrs. Darrell Thomas, the People's Savings Bank, Perpetual Federal Savings Bank, Mr. and Mrs. Bill Grafflin, Mr. and Mrs. Todd Michael, Dr. and Mrs. John Flora, Mr. and Mrs. Paul France. A special thank you to Senior Samantha Tracy for designing the front cover of the Academic Banquet program. And finally, I would like to congratulate all of the students for their academic excellence this year. Best wishes especially to the seniors on all your future endeavors. Now I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for tonight's event, Mr. Patrick Trenner.
Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time this evening to join us for this award ceremony. We will start by recognizing our senior award winners. Tessa Armstrong, second year. Sarah Baldwin, first year. Delaney Brown, fourth year. Mackenzie Carter, first year. Lucas Chess, first year. Lily Cooksey, second year. Rachel Delaney, first year. Aaron Dyer, first year. Austin Fisher, first year. Ashlyn Hall, third year. Connor Hayslip, fourth year. Reagan Hepp, third year. Alyssa Holland, fourth year. Grant Howard, fourth year. Quentin Hughes, first year. Patrick Karg, fourth year. Nicholas Lindolfo, second year. Jacob Latimer, fourth year. Hannah Lauk, second year. Hannah Loxley, third year. Kelsey Murray, third year. Krish Patel, second year. Logan Pence, fourth year. Jalen Portis, first year. Rebecca Preston, fourth year. Bianca Ratcliffe, first year. Seth Rayner, first year. Austin Rooney, fourth year. Anastasia Saylor, third year. Robert Schreiber, first year. Gavin Spence, fourth year. Sierra Swan, first year. Samantha Tracy, fourth year. Daniel Westcott, second year. Rachel White, fourth year. Next, we will recognize our junior award winners. Kane Bailey Jr., first year. Catherine Brazil, third year. Chasta Cottle, first year. Elijah Colbert, first year. Haley Combs, first year. Brianna Dean, first year. Paige Deere, third year. Grace Doyle, third year. Victoria Easterday, first year. Ashley Gemeinhart, second year. Zoe Henson, second year. Grace Hepp, second year. Donovan Kelly, first year. Emma Lindolfo, first year. Joseph Link, third year. Asha Lucas, third year. Kayla Mann, first year. Casey Martin, second year. Paige Martinez, third year. Owen McCright, third year. Zachariah Pence, third year. McKenna Radford, third year. Janelle Rains, second year. Austin Rice, third year. Gatlin Ridgewell, third year. Samantha Rooney, third year. Stephanie Salvaggio, third year. Madeline Skelton, second year. Addison Smith, first year. Elena Snyder, first year. Harmony Stewart, third year. Brianne Stauffer, third year. Megan Stump, first year. Sophia Talibi, third year. Joseph Tim, third year. Brianna Wadnitz, third year. Camden Weiss, third year. Trey Williams, third year. Alexis Windmiller, third year. Jennifer Zaborowski, second year. Next, we will recognize our sophomore award winners. Erica Arnett, second year. Kendra Backus, second year. Duke Buckaloo, second year. Zoe Cahal, second year. Ellie Caldwell, first year. Callie Christian, second year. Jasmine Collins, second year. Ariana Citrus, first year. Julie Daniel, first year. Taylor DeMoss, second year. Mara Donahoe, second year. Lacey Guy, first year. Libby Gilliam, second year. Elena Hiles, first year. Zachary Hoskins, second year. Gracie Howard, second year. Madeline Jenkins, second year. Otto Johnson, second year. Riley Johnson, second year. Max Keeley, first year. Lee Landis, first year. Aiden Leonard, first year. Sarah Maddie, first year. Sigrid Melcher, second year. Emily Packard, second year. Wyatt Pelfrey, first year. Taylor Prater, second year. Sarah Preston, first year. Lexi Prince, first year. McKinley Ratliff, second year. Anna Rogan, first year. Kyle Rooney, first year. Justin Rutan, first year. Emily Skelly, second year. Joplin Sloat, second year. Willow Staley, first year. Stella Swan, first year. Catherine Trudeau, second year. Grace Ullum, second year. Jenna White, second year. Next, we'll recognize our freshman award winners. Savani Brown, first year. Jack Bucklew, first year. Aubrey Burnside, first year. Brenna Burnside, first year. Brian Chamberlain, first year. Olivia Heckman Stud, first year. Rylan Hefner, first year. Jonathan Hildebrand, first year. Melina Keller, first year. Alexandria Marsh, first year. Camille McIntosh, first year. Lakin Ridgewell, first year. Anna Salvaggio, first year. Maya Stokes, first year. Liliana Talibi, first year. Mariah Tavner, first year. Ella Taylor, first year. Alyssa Weir, first year.
At this point in the program, we will recognize our four-year Academic Banquet Award winners. Our award winners will recognize a teacher that has had an influential impact on their life over their academic career. Our first recipient is Delaney Brown.
From the night I attended my first academic banquet, I have looked forward to the time when I would be the one presenting the Esteemed Teachers Appreciation Award. For what has been a majority of my lifetime, I have sat in classroom after classroom and have been fortunate to learn from what I believe to be some of the best and brightest educators along the way. I am truly grateful to have had so many incredible teachers that have each shaped me into the accomplished student and confident person I've become. As it is finally my turn to present the award, I am pleased to say that I have chosen to honor my biology and human phys teacher, Miss Westerman. It's rare that you're able to find someone as devoted, caring, and without a doubt as organized as Westy. But most importantly, the passion she shares for her work makes it almost impossible for you not to love it too. For a long time now, I've known my interests have been geared towards biology and how the body works. However, after having Westy as a teacher, I've realized that this interest can expand to a completely new level. Whether we were just taking notes, and I mean a lot of notes, doing labs, or watching the infamous crash course videos, Miss Westerman would find the greatest pleasure in explaining the basic parts of a cell to the entire process of muscle contractions. I'm fairly certain that I used up almost every page in my notebook, but it was easily worth it as I later found myself looking back on notes and worksheets to help me in other classes. One of my favorite memories with Westy was when she wrote down the genotypes of my cats and then crossed them to figure out the possibilities of offspring they could have, one being a special Louie. It never failed that no matter what mood I was in, I could always count on leaving her classroom with a smile on my face and most likely a callus on my hand. But honestly, I wouldn't choose to have it any other way. I am beyond grateful to have been taught by such an extraordinary teacher that has truly marked a place in my heart. Westy, as a note to you, thank you for sharing your passion with me and for becoming a role model I can always count on. I'm excited to pursue my newly developed passion in biology and look forward to receiving more cat photos in the near future.
Next senior we'll recognize is Connor Haslett.
Over the years, I have had many amazing teachers, but the one that stood out the most was Miss Kress. Her English class was my favorite and came at a great time for me. First of all, there were all of the books that we read. From Lord of the Flies to The Color Purple to even Hamlet, your class was full of some of the best books I have read over the years. My personal favorites were Frankenstein and The Color Purple, both stories which helped to change my point of view and give me more of a vision into the way that others process things. Reading these new books also reignited my interest in reading and caused me to look into more books on my own free time. This class changed my perspective on many issues I used to see as plainly black and white, and helped me form a much more concrete ideology of my own. I became much more individualized, and even broke out of my shell to an extent and become less timid. Thus, this class helped in forming me into who I am. So, I would like to thank Miss Kress for not only giving me an amazing class, but also making me into who I am today.
The next senior we'll recognize is Alyssa Holland.
Ever since I heard the speeches from the seniors at the academic banquet my freshman year, I couldn't wait until it was my turn. I made it my goal to go to the banquet each year so that I would have the opportunity to honor one of my teachers this year. I have had so many amazing teachers throughout high school, and I have been incredibly lucky to have one of them for all 4 years. Since freshman year, the highlight of my day has always been Spanish class with Senora McDonald. Senora clearly has a passion for what she teaches. In her class, we learn about people and cultures very different from our own, and Senora encourages us to learn about these things with an open mind. It has been so much fun to learn Spanish from someone who is so enthusiastic about what she teaches. I chose to take Spanish class all 4 years of high school, becoming the only student in Spanish 5 this year. This was because of how much I enjoy learning from Senora. Aside from just learning in class, learning languages has developed into a hobby of mine at home. Senora has opened my eyes to something I never would have guessed would become such a big part of my life. With the information and love for the Spanish language that I learned from Senora, I decided to apply to The Ohio State University to continue studying the language. My application essay that I wrote on our school trip to Costa Rica helped me earn a full scholarship to study there. I definitely have to thank Senora for playing a part in that achievement and helping me realize that this was something I wanted to pursue in the future. The things I have learned from Senora have prepared me to travel and interact with people all over the world, something I experienced on our trip to Costa Rica. I had a wonderful time while we were there, and I absolutely loved being immersed in the culture and language. I enjoyed Costa Rica so much that I had planned on going again this year and being bus buddies with Senora while everyone else went horseback riding. That trip has inspired me to travel as much as I can in the future and to have many more experiences like that. Thank you, Senora, for being an amazing teacher and role model the past 4 years.
Our next senior we'll recognize is Grant Hauer.
So through my last 4 years at Urbana High School, I've went to the last 3 academic banquets, and I really had absolutely no idea who I was going to choose. I mean, I would sit at every single one of them and just go through all of my teachers' names. And it wasn't really that I didn't like my teachers, it was just that I didn't really have a strong connection with them. But sophomore year, I was really excited for the next year because Mr. O'Kane had recruited me to do DECA, and he kept saying that I was going to be his next golden boy. I was going to really succeed. But we all know what happened there, and I'm just really happy that at least I got to experience something with him. So I was really down about that, and then coming in the junior year, there was this new teacher, Mr. Russell. And so I got there, I think he was my first period class, and he said, "All right, everyone get out your phones." And then so everyone got out their phones. He said, "All right, now if you have your phones, go take them to your locker." And so just about half the class got tricked into that one. And so that's when I realized that Mr. Russell really was not the teacher that everyone kind of thought he was going to be. He was more of a fun teacher, and well, after just a very short period of time, I realized that Mr. Russell really cared for his students. It really only takes you a couple conversations. Luckily, I had a couple years to do this, and I really think that I got a strong bond with Mr. Russell, and we grew pretty close over the past few years. And this wasn't just my success when it came to DECA. This was my success just overall in academics and in life. I quickly realized that Mr. Russell, he was teaching the information that I would actually use in real life. And I really felt a little bit deprived of this after just my first 2 years in high school. I'd really kind of felt every day, how am I going to use this information in real life, this math, this English? Then Mr. Russell came in and he started talking to me about business and ethics and taxes and things like that. And now I feel a lot more confident for just going into real life, going into the workforce, going into college. And I know that if some big fancy man with a suit comes up to me and talks to me, I'm at least going to know a little bit about what I'm talking about. After just a few years at Urbana, Mr. Russell has truly impacted a lot of people's lives, and you can tell that he is really the true definition of a climber just by talking to him. He's already involved himself in so many things in the community, and he's only been here after graduating and coming back. He's only been here a couple years. A couple things about Mr. Russell. He loves SpongeBob, and I can really remember a few times in class when he would completely stop the notes that we were doing because something in class reminded him of SpongeBob, and pull up the exact clip from the exact episode because he knew it by heart, play the clip, and then go back to notes. If you take his class, he will definitely try to convince you to go to Bowling Green. He would always tell me about how great their education program is and that I would be a perfect suit for it. But I'm going to Ohio State next fall, which is a school that Mr. Russell may or may not have gotten into. He has a couple Spotify playlists, and he will play them all day long, every day, and he sees no problem with that. And it's a little bit of a problem with me when I have him first period, second period, most third periods because I'll get a pass from study hall, homeroom, climber time, and eighth period. every single day, the same songs. Mr. Russell really has opened me up to a whole new world with business and marketing, and at first it was really even what I was going to major in next year. However, I chose education just like he did after considering marketing and then going back. I've had a whole lot of fun over the past couple of years in DECA, going to competitions and FLCs, and I'm really going to miss DECA.
The next senior you'll recognize is Patrick Karg.
Over my course through high school, there are many teachers that I've enjoyed. Many teachers that have impacted me or have taught me in an interesting way. When it came to nominating a teacher here tonight, my choice was obvious but difficult. I chose to nominate Mr. Pitzenbarger because he was a very good teacher to me. He taught very well and always had a smile on his face whenever we would walk in. Every Friday, Mr. Pitzenbarger would give us a yee-haw to finish out the week, and every Wednesday, he'd give us half of one, a yee, to signify that we were halfway through. I really appreciated his class and the math that he had taught me because the math is difficult, but he always found a way of making it seem very easy. I chose to nominate him tonight because he left an impact on me that no other teacher has yet. I chose to major in mathematics, and if it wasn't for his class, I don't think I would have made that decision.
The next senior you'll recognize is Jacob Latimer.
I've always believed that Urbana High School has been incredibly lucky because there's an amazing group of both staff and faculty. During my time here, I've never doubted if a teacher cared about my personal well-being or my education. There are many teachers who have made lasting impressions on me. I would like to thank Mr. Sapp for introducing me to the band and giving me a safe place to relax at the end of the day. I would also like to thank Madame for being my French teacher since 8th grade. I know I can be a lot. I don't know how he did it. However, the teacher I'm choosing to recognize today is Miss Denise. Although I've only had her as a teacher for 2 years, I've known Miss Denise for many years, on the account of her son and I being very close friends. Over these years, I've seen firsthand how much she cares about her students. She puts her everything into the school, even if it stresses her out to no end. Whether it is at home or at school, Miss Denise embodies what it means to be a teacher. Her passion towards education is awe-inspiring. Over my last 2 years at Urbana High School, I've had her as both my yearbook advisor and my CCP English teacher. It is from these classes where I learned one of my weakest points as a writer, and one of her pet peeves: bad grammar. Quite honestly, I'm thankful she cannot see this speech, because I'm sure I'm breaking every comma rule. To that end, I would like to explain the following gifts that I brought for her. The first is a pack of red pens and pink highlighters. Anyone who has had a paper reviewed or corrected by Ms. Denise is well aware of these go-to grading tools. After purchasing these items, I thought back to some of my previous rough drafts that I turned in, and I decided to then purchase another pack of red pens just to make up for the pens she's used on me alone. Now, the next gift was something that when I first heard about it, all I could think of was, ooh, Miss Denise is going to have a field day with this one. It is a book entitled A Pickle for the Knowing Ones by Lord Timothy Dexter. The book is ridiculed with unbelievably bad spelling and just far out there grammar mistakes. In fact, there is no punctuation or random capitalization throughout the whole book. And one would ask, why give something like this to Miss D? I give it to her as a reminder that as she is grading papers late into the night, and she comes across a student's paper that is so badly written she wonders if the student will pass her class, or if that student can write a college paper. Know that this incredibly bad specimen of writing has been selected by scholars as being culturally important, and is, and I quote, part of the knowledge base of civilization, as we know it. So don't give up hope. That poor student may just become the next Lord Timothy Dexter. Lastly, for those of you who aren't aware, Miss Denise is an amazing cook. She's also a big fan of Harry Potter. Her actual Gmail profile picture is Umbridge, which is not that far off. She is such a big fan, I ended up buying a copy of the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook for her to try out. In conclusion, there will be many times and many things where I'll miss about being near Miss Denise and being in her class. From getting called Typhoid Jake when I developed a brutal, persistent cough this past February, which in hindsight may or may not have been COVID-19, to being called a knuckle chuckle when I forgot my yearbook page. Being a part of these classes has been a great way to end my high school year. Miss D, I wish you the best in your classes to come, and don't be surprised if I reach out to you in the next year or two about more grammar stuff while I'm at college. Thank you for everything you've done.
The next senior we'll recognize is Logan Pence.
Over the years, there has been an innumerable amount of people that have made a difference in my life. These people have changed my life for the better, and I am grateful for every single one of them. So choosing just one was very hard for me. In the end, I decided to pick someone who helped to expand my curiosity for learning and help me in any way they could. I've always wondered about how the world around me works, and this teacher was more than willing to explain it to me and challenge me to learn more about it. She helped teach me everything from the basic structures of lipids and proteins to the inner workings of my nervous and muscular systems. Her visual teaching style was always made learning about these things very easy and entertaining. This teacher is Miss Westerman. I had Miss Westerman during my sophomore and junior years while taking honors biology and human physiology, and I absolutely loved being in her class. My junior year, I decided to get rid of my study hall and take 2 sciences so I could take human physiology. At the time, this choice seemed completely absurd, with all of my other honors and AP courses, but I quickly realized it was the right choice to make. This class soon became one of my favorites that year, and I learned how cool things like muscles and bones can be. She was always accepting of the way I learn, and I am so thankful for that. When it comes to learning science, I cannot sit still and be quiet if I want to truly understand it. This means that she has put up with me fidgeting with random items, thinking out loud, and asking questions every 30 seconds because I was confused or I simply wanted to learn more about the topic. Additionally, and most importantly, Miss Westerman understood my need to drop everything that I was doing to go grab a ruler to draw a straight line. These classes always gave me a break from my chaotic day, and I learned so much from them. Thank you so much, Miss Westerman, for helping me grow.
The next senior we'll recognize is Rebecca Preston.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Preston, but I often go by Becky. I've gone to Urbana City Schools my entire life. It was really tough trying to choose just one teacher, because every teacher I've had has helped me to become who I am today. When I was in elementary, I struggled with my eyesight, and this led me to being behind on my education, and I had a lack of motivation. It was a difficult struggle for me to read. I found that it gave me headaches, it was too boring or too hard to understand, and this led me to hate. I had one teacher in particular that helped to change my mind about reading. Miss Jackson was my 8th grade English teacher. Her style and attitude while teaching made me feel that someone actually understood a student's mindset. I remember her showing us her 8th grade report card and how she had not gotten the best grades, and she explained to us that it was important to be successful in school, and that there was still time to change this around and to try our best. When she told her experience, it allowed me to see education as something I have control over. It was inspiring me to actually care about my grades. She didn't restrict the books that we could choose from, whereas most teachers would make you choose from their certain library in their classroom or from your Lexile score. And I didn't seem to find any of these books interesting, and therefore I was not interested in reading. I found the Warrior books while I was in her class because she let us choose, where I fell in love with reading. I'm currently still reading these books because I decided to reread them. I try to read whenever I get any extra time in my day or on my free time. One memory I'll never forget is sitting in her classroom at the old school, and I had a new desire to learn and to read. Being there was one of my happy places. The way I feel about reading has drastically changed because of her. I've had many great role models in my life, like my grandmother, my mother, and my sister. Of course, I want to thank Miss Jackson for being such a great role model. She had such a positive impact on my education and on my life. She has brought me such great joy because I now enjoy reading. As a gift, I got her an Amazon card so she can buy any school supplies she needs for her class such as books or supplies. I also got her a Tim Hortons gift card to treat herself to something.
The next senior we'll recognize is Austin Rooney.
First off, I would like to thank all the teachers that have put up with me these 4 years. A couple teachers that I want to give a shout out to are Mr. P for being one of the smartest guys I've ever met and for helping me know what I want to do in my future. And also Mrs. Z for having me for 3 of my 4 years here, which can be a challenge. And there's many, many other teachers that I didn't mention that should be recognized. The teacher I chose to honor this year is a role model of mine that has taught me the most real world skills that anyone has in my entire life. I believe that this teacher's way of teaching is just a little different than other teachers that I've had in the past, but I think it's the most effective way to do it. This teacher not only consistently works and helps students to accomplish things that we know we can do, he goes above and beyond in the ways he teaches. The teacher I chose is Mr. Russell. Whenever I felt unmotivated to do an assignment or would rather not do anything at all, Mr. Russell would say a phrase that I will take with me for the rest of my life. And that is, just freaking do the work, Austin. After he says this, you know I could have it done by the end of the period. The teaching style Mr. Russell uses combines an older way of learning, like vocabulary, with a new style of internet activities and online learning. This allows students to learn at a much higher level. For anyone that wants to take classes with Mr. Russell in the future, he really enjoys when you and a couple classmates decide to answer questions with eggs. Shout out to Owen McCray. I made a lot of memories in DECA competitions and trips with Mr. Russell, but unfortunately our time was cut short. I really appreciate the time I was able to spend with him.
The next senior we'll recognize is Gavin Spence.
During my 4 years of attending Urbana High School, I've had a handful of exceptional teachers who I give this award to. But the teachers I'd like to award for having a positive impact on my education would be my DECA teacher, Mr. Russell. For the last 2 years, I've been lucky enough to call him a mentor of mine. Not only has he educated me academically, but he has also taught me many things that will be very beneficial to me in the real world as I graduate this year. For example, he has taught me how to develop resumes, hold conversations with strangers, and many other things that will allow me to be confident when I begin searching for jobs in my future. Most importantly, he has also been a key advisor throughout my college process. As a first-generation college student, I was very lost throughout this whole process because I had very few people I could go to when I needed a question, answer, or advice, but Mr. Russell became that person for me. Every day in class, I would have a new question to ask him about which classes to take and what college was the best out of the ones I was accepted to. He also gave me many tips and amazing advice throughout the whole process, and I am quite thankful for that. He also took his own time to write a recommendation letter for many scholarships and colleges, which I am very thankful for as well. Throughout my 2 years of having him as a DECA advisor, we all made countless memories along the way. My favorite memory was when he informed my partner Paige Martinez and I about what community giving was. Paige and I ran with this idea and were able to give back to our community in so many ways thanks to Mr. Russell's idea and assistance along the way. We hosted 2 events, one in the fall and one in the winter. Due to these events, we were able to donate over 1,000 canned goods to our local caring kitchen and 250 stuffed animals to a foster home and Dayton Children's Hospital. Thanks to Mr. Russell, these events gave me something that I will forever be proud of and allowed me to give back in such a large way. My time attending Urbana High School was nothing short of amazing, and having amazing teachers like Mr. Russell along the way made it so much better. Thank you for all that you do, and I cannot wait to see the many things our DECA chapter does in the coming years.
The next senior we'll recognize is Samantha Tracy.
I'm extremely grateful to have had some amazing teachers during my time at Urbana. If I took the time to individually thank each teacher that has had a positive impact on me, it would take forever. Fortunately, I have been able to have some of my teachers for more than 1 year. This has allowed me to grow closer to them, as well as grow more comfortable in the learning environments that they have set up. While in high school, the art room has always been one of my favorite places, no matter whether it was in the old building or the new building. The environment in Simpson's classroom is such a positive environment, where everyone is comfortable to be themselves. Everyone just kind of does their own thing while still growing closer to the people around them. My art classes have without a doubt always been one of my favorite parts of the school day. It always seemed like a mental break from all the stress from my other classes. However, my mind would still be occupied. Over the last 4 years, I have learned a lot from Sims. Not only art-wise, because trust me, I have definitely improved from her teaching, but I have also learned how to be strong. Mrs. Simpson is such a strong woman. Through every obstacle she faces, she keeps a positive attitude. She's always there to make you laugh, even in difficult situations. She is more than an art teacher. She is someone that is always willing to talk to you about any artwork or just your life. She really cares and she shows it. She is such an easy person to talk to, and I was fortunate enough to have more than one art class in my schedule this year. My day was always guaranteed to be filled with laughter in her classes. Thank you, Sims, for being who you are. I will definitely miss you, and I will definitely let you know how things go at Otterbein. Go Climbers and Cardinals.
The last senior we'll recognize is Rachel White.
When I look back at my years at Urbana City Schools, there's one year that really stands out above the rest. Part of it was because my mom was in one of my classes, but mostly because of my 4th grade homeroom teacher. She really made 4th grade memorable. Me and Austin Fisher would race to her classroom every morning, and even after school I would hang out in her classroom and help her rearrange her furniture or help her organize her papers. She helped me become a student council representative, and she always gave out Jolly Ranchers. What makes her stand out the most is how she made me feel proud of myself. She was the one that first pushed me and acknowledged that I needed accelerated work in math. Alex Engels and I got additional math assignments, which eventually placed me in honors classes. I feel that she is a big part of the reason why I am taking a full year of College Credit Plus classes. These are the reasons I decided to honor Mrs. Johnson. Thank you for caring about me and pushing me to do my best. I have great memories of East Elementary, and I have been lucky enough to catch up with you recently. I got Mrs. Johnson a yard thermometer because she was my math and science teacher, and I felt like she would really appreciate it. I also got Mrs. Johnson a box of Marie's candies to appreciate how she always gave us candy. Congratulations on becoming new grandparents. I know that little girl is one of the luckiest in the world. I love you and I miss you, Mrs. Johnson.
This concludes our evening's banquet. I want to thank all of you for joining us. I also want to thank all of our donors again for making tonight's ceremony possible. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.